Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Ask Kevin. I know I can speak slower if you really want me to, so if you want, I can speak a little bit slower. I mean, it'll be easier to understand if I speak like this. But anyway, hi, welcome back to another episode of Ask Kevin. Today, we're gonna be answering some Qs. I haven't done a Q&A on this channel in ages, and I figured, what a better time, get some of that content, let's go. Do you still have/use Tinder? Update on your dating life. I guess you could say I'm updating you on the dating. No. Actually, no, I don't have Tinder at the moment. I deleted the app and its ilk like a couple months ago. Not that there's anything wrong with them. In fact, I've made some pretty good friends from Tinder, you know, just from dating. I've had nice dates and memories from that as well. It's just, it's not for me at the moment. In terms of my dating life, I do feel like dating in my late 20s has been a much more enjoyable experience than earlier. I just feel like I know myself so much more and I know what I'm looking for, and so it's much easier for me to be honest with myself and honest with other people about both of those things. But yeah, lately I found dates a lot more fun, especially when you cut the BS. What do you think about Boris Johnson? I'm actually quite surprised. Most of the questions that I got on this Ask Evan were political in nature, and I find that really fascinating because I don't know, originally I'd get questions about like puppy-sized elephants and things like that, but so many of these questions have to do with politics. In fact, this was the top-rated comment on my YouTube channel. So, just want to say, that's cool, thanks. I'm glad you guys are staying up with recent politics stuff. Boris Johnson, my thoughts, I mean, even though I really enjoy the UK system of government because I find it a little bit more representational than the US's in terms of how Parliament works, I do find it really unsettling that no one voted for Boris Johnson and yet he's now the leader of the country. I also understand the cool part about how, you know, you're not really voting for a prime minister, you're voting for a, but yet you kind of are, and no one voted for Boris Johnson. I just feel like there should be another general election, and I would also say this, if it was a Labour person or if it was a Lib Dem or if it was anyone else really on the Liberal side, I don't really care. I do find it quite odd that he's currently the leader of the UK and no one actually voted him in. And after that recent by-election in Wales, it looks like the government currently only has a majority of one vote. That by-election was crazy because now it looks like it can swing both ways. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is terrifying. Do you want to learn any more languages? If so, which ones? I am currently learning like 2 other languages. I feel like we sometimes focus way too much on trying to do everything at once and then end up doing nothing. I'm not trying to think about all the other languages in the world and all the things that I can learn because that'll just stress me out. Right now, I'm continuing my journey with German. I'm really loving it. I'm doing a couple online courses for free. I'm still continuing that. I'm also learning Spanish on Duolingo with a German root, and that's really nice because it's really strengthening my German and also teaching me Spanish at a difficult level, and I'm enjoying that. That's what I'm doing. I'll do every little step at a time and I'll slowly get fluent in Spanish as well, okay? Come back to me in 3 years with that one. I've already learned Germany languages. It didn't work. I don't know why I sound Chicagoan. Do you think you'd still be living in the UK today if your YouTube channel didn't take off? This is a good question, except the answer is yes, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Like, I moved here for a purpose and my YouTube channel took off, which is nice, and that's been paying the bills, which is really cool, but I have like a couple degrees under my belt. I've got a lot of experience in acquisition marketing and influencer marketing. If YouTube just went kaput today, I'd be fine. I'd just go back to working. In fact, at this very moment, I want to be working, okay? The company I was working for went under in March, and I'm still upset about it because I want a job, okay? You haven't noticed, I don't do many brand deals on this channel. I get offers and they're always really bad, and I'm like, I'm all right. And because of this, I don't have that extra salary coming in anymore, so, you know, I'd like a part-time office job or something. So, to answer your question, yes, I'd be fine. I'd still be working in marketing, and I'd be happy doing it. Why is there an eyelash on my freaking glass? Sorry, I lashed out at you. What is the hardest part about being a YouTuber? What's the side the audience doesn't see? When I have to film in a room like this, I can't have the fan on or the windows open, guys. It is hot. Whenever I end the video and me and a guest are like, it's hot, it's hot, okay? It's friggin' hot. It's filming in the summer, making videos regularly. That's not actually it, that's a joke answer. The real answer, trying to stay consistent no matter what. Like, I've been making videos for a very, very long time. I've been making videos for coming up on 9 or 10 years, can't remember at this point, and if I kept making the same stuff over and over, no one would be here, you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't care about whoever this guy is in a Q&A. I constantly have to make things that I find interesting, that other people would find interesting, and no one's telling me to do that. There's no boss I have. A lot of people think that having, you know, no boss and being your own boss is easy. It's really not. And you have to be really self-motivated. You have to do a lot of stuff on your own. And I'd say that's probably the hardest thing. I wake up in the morning and I go, I want to get this done. I want to make a video. This is what I want to do, and I do it. So if you're not that self-motivated, maybe that side of being a YouTuber is not for you. Also, in terms of like drama, that aspect, because no matter how clean you try and be, and no matter how many wholesome people you try to hang out with, drama always finds its way into your freaking life. You just gotta find a way to move on. I found like people in relationships would have issues in their relationships because of online people that haven't even met them. That terrifies me. But I'm just trying to live my own life, be really happy, you know, in the situation I'm in, be grateful, be thankful, and just keep doing what I'm doing. Also, I guess asterisk here, but one of the hardest parts about becoming a YouTuber is that fact that you have to work for ages and maybe not get rewarded at all. I made videos for years without getting a dime. It's just because I liked doing it. So really, if you wanna do this, you gotta like doing it. Otherwise, find something else to do. How is your hair so perfect? Well, I browse a lot of hair tutorials. No, why would you ask this? You know, I usually know when to get a haircut based on when I start getting a lot of comments telling me to get haircuts. I wait for y'all to tell me. And I feel like it's coming. I definitely need a haircut. I have this weird floopy thing. You know, it's getting so big, it's just floofing on the side. I thought it was supposedly bad when you like dye your hair and let it grow out and you can see the roots. But everyone's been like, I like this thing you're doing with the ombre. It's not intentional. You know, I appreciate the compliments though. I think I'm dyeing it this week though to get it a bit blonder for Sitsi. So that's exciting. I guess thanks for the compliment. That's nice. It's glad to know something that I just don't really know what I'm doing with people like. So yeah. Are British takeaways better than American takeouts? The answer at 9. 9. I'd go with more of a yine. Like, it's a bit of an in-between. It's not a yes, it's not a no. British takeaways are so good with certain genres of food. You know, you cannot get a good curry in the US. At least I haven't. I've tried a lot of places when I travel to the US to be like, ooh, I'm gonna try something from LA. They must have good curry. They don't. The UK just knows how to make a good curry. But when it comes to pizza, by far, of course, the US wins this war. The takeout pizza 100% wins. But maybe that's just my Jersey bias. So if there's one takeaway from this, it's that the US has a lot more selection, but of the UK stuff that they have, magnifique, they do it right. Did you ever have trouble finding housing in London? I've been trying to move there, and it's really hard even to find a shared flat. Yes, it's incredibly hard to find a place in London. Every flat I've ever lived in London, I found within an hour of it being posted on a website, and I called them immediately to be like, yo, can I view this, like, now or tomorrow? And that's how I got it. Honestly, the good stuff, you have to be always on these stinking, like, flat share websites if you want to find the good stuff. If you don't, you'll be left with those, like, nasty, dirty student accommodations that are in really bad areas of East London. You're like, well, you know, you snooze, you lose. The early mouse gets the cheese. Oh wait, they die. The worm. Early bird gets the worm, okay? If you want a good worm, you... Or, even better bet, go to a letting agent and tell them what you're looking for, and a lot of times, they will find you one before it gets on the market. So, there you go. I mean, personally, I'd really love to buy a place in London, but there's like absolutely no way I could ever afford it, which is really depressing. Like I said, I haven't had a job in a couple months and the brand deals aren't coming through, so I can't really think about buying a house. There's no way I can afford a mortgage. Maybe one day in the future, but especially in London, I don't know. It's just so hard to find a place in London that has a garden, isn't the size of a shoebox, and isn't over 500,000 pounds. How are your avocados? Well, actually, the ones I planted from my video a couple months ago have sprouted. Look how big they are. They're so freaking big now. I'm so excited. It took about a month for the seed to crack and for the stem to come out. But now look, we've got a lot of leaves on both of them here, and they're both really happy. I basically just put them on my windowsill for like a good month and watered them every other day, and sure enough, it sprouted. Just like I said. In terms of my big boys, the biggest one's now over 7 feet tall, but I did have a really scary period in which I lost loads of the leaves on the biggest one where they were yellowing, falling off, and dying. I figured maybe it had to do with root rot, maybe it had to do with the fact that I had recently just repotted it and tried to like clean the roots a bit because there was a bit of root rot happening from, I guess, overwatering. I freaked out. I bought this product that was only available in German. Like, there was no other product available in English, and I was like, well, this is what my Duolingo has been for. And I actually was able to, you know, read it and use it correctly, and it was able to prevent, hopefully, the spread of more root rot. I also bought some fish blood and bones. These are expensive freaking plants. The amount of money and effort I have put in to getting these guys the right nutrients. I also have this stick that I now put into the soil to make sure it's moist enough before I water it to prevent more root rot, and also just to make sure they're the happiest avocados possible. But either way, they have survived this onslaught, and they're just still growing. So, good job, boys. Do you still hate The Greatest Showman? Has anything changed with the film that I wasn't aware of? Like, have they fixed the incredibly terrible story with so many plot devices that were just bad writing? Or, I don't know, if you update me, I mean, if they've changed that, maybe. But yeah, probably still hate that terrible trash pile of a film. Are you supporting Bernie again in 2020? And what do you think the outcome of the presidential election will be? So, if you've been here for a while, I did support Bernie very strongly in the previous election.
Evan, what did you think? I feel the burn. I'm definitely pro-Bernie at this point.
A big fan of that guy. He brought the US so far into the future in terms of the policies that the Democratic candidates are all currently displaying, so I'm very happy about that. But at this point, yes, I am still supporting Bernie Sanders for the current election. I'm also a big fan, got my eye on, Elizabeth Warren. So many of Warren's policies are very similar to Sanders, and she also has a lot of her own really good ideas that I very, very fully support. So big fan of either of those. I mean, even before she announced her presidential bid, way back in the last election, I remember saying my dream team would be Bernie Sanders with Elizabeth Warren as VP. So here we go. This is my dream. I don't care which of those two wins. America wins, basically, in my opinion. When it comes to the other Democratic nominees, they're all pretty much just the same shade of pink. Like, they don't really matter to me that much. I mean, Biden is like the most like boring of, oh, cool. Everyone want to do what happened last time where we put a candidate up that really doesn't change anything and really isn't progressive at all. And oh no, Trump won. What I can't believe it. Wow. But I guess a big positive regardless is so many Democratic nominees are all supporting Medicare for all. And I'm just really happy that all of Bernie's policies are being adopted by the DNC. I was about to say DNCE. It's not so crazy. Every first world country does it. Whoa. We want healthcare by the ocean. Cover coming to iTunes. You travel a lot, but would you ever consider getting a skipper/pilot's license to fly yourself around the world? How rich do you think I am? Because I'm definitely not that rich in any slight regard. I'm pretty sure it costs over $100,000 to get a pilot's license because you have to fly like 10,000 hours, and just to get to that stage, you have to fly so many times. You have to pay so much to get in so many planes. No way. There's no way I could ever do that. That's like just not something I'm really interested in that much. Of all the things I'm trying to better myself at and learn all these different skills, it'd be cool to learn how to like pilot a helicopter just in case. You know, there's a building on fire and I'm like, I can fly this helicopter. I don't know. But no, that's not really in my realm of possibility. What Nintendo game are you most looking forward to being released? Metroid Prime 4. I've been a huge fan of the Metroid Prime trilogy. They're all such good games. When they announced 4, I was so stoked. And then they actually completely canned the project and brought it back with the original developer, Retro. I'm very happy about that. Some people might have been upset, but honestly, if Nintendo decided that it was not doing well, I'm so glad they decided to scrap the whole thing and start over, because at least I know, hey, Metroid Prime's gonna be in good hands. I'm excited for the 4th one. Maybe it'll be out on the system after Switch. I don't actually know. Could you talk about the different ways you studied for grad school? I didn't study that much for grad school for my first term because I'm an idiot that thought, hey, UK is just like the US. I can just get by studying the last day before the exam. It didn't work. I got 49s on every single one of my exams. Which was 1 point away from passing each of those courses. Very upsetting. I did resit and I got like 80% on them because I learned my lesson, but the way that the teaching process works in the UK is very much lecture and self-teaching. At least that's what my experience was. So if you want study tips from me, you shouldn't. Go find them elsewhere. My tips are just become a hermit and just study for a month straight, and then you'll do well. Any new merch coming soon? Actually, I just had this design made for Summer in the City, so if you're going to Summer in the City, the YouTube convention in London next week, you can pop this guy in your pocket. It's a poster. Don't put posters in your pocket. But it's also gonna be on a t-shirt. Limited edition, just gonna be available at Sissy for now. If you guys really like it, I might be selling it online eventually when I find a merch company that isn't terrible. I get so many emails from companies like, hey, we sell merch for you, and I'm like, you're a terrible company. I'd rather not have merch online than have it available for a bad company. So if you guys know any good companies that want to sell merch for me, that'd be great. I have lots of stock. It's all in my house. Come on down. What was your favorite place in Munich? I mean, it's not a tourist destination by any stretch of the imagination, but it was just a very thin park that ran alongside the Isar River, because I also ran alongside the Isar River every single day. And I just have so many positive memories of just running alongside the Isar River. Sometimes I'd decide to take a left and go into the Englischer Garten, or other times I'd go to the Deutsches Museum, which would be really fun. It was alongside the Wiedemayerstraße, basically. It's just a thin park. It's really pretty. You get to hear the rushing river, and it just brings me back, man. Good memories. How's learning piano going, and what's your favorite song to play on it? I am really, really excited about how far I've come with piano. I'm very nearly done my first ever piano book. I bought this on Amazon. It's like Alfred's Basic Adult Piano Course Level 1. It started off as if you don't know anything about piano, and literally I've got like 3 songs left, and then I get to give myself a little certificate at the end. I'll like hang it on the fridge, be like, I could play piano now. I'm really excited. So like out of this book, the one that I was the most excited to get to that I actually can play fully now is a song called The Entertainer by Scott Joplin. You all know it. I I'm just so proud of myself for being able to play that. And also, there's songs like Amazing Grace where when I started practicing it, I was like, there's no way I could play this. It's too difficult. And then I'm like, bam. I can do it now. It's genuinely one of the best things that I've done mental health-wise, because it's just me seeing a hurdle, seeing my inability, and then changing it so that it's now an ability. My favorite song I've learned recently, though, is a song called At Last, because it was another really difficult song that I just mastered, and it's so pretty. I really enjoyed your most recent videos with Jay Foreman. Could you ever see yourself deviating away from the vlogging genre of content you produce and more towards educational/entertainment type videos, perhaps to do with languages/travel? This is a good question about the future of my YouTube channel. I mean, I like what I'm doing right now. I feel like my content style has changed so much in the last 3 years. Like, even if you look at just the British versus America videos I made when I first started doing those, they're so different. They're just fun. They're just me as an excuse to hang out with friends. And now I'm trying to do a lot more research. I'm trying to make them a lot more educational and a lot more interesting. It's like an edutainment thing that I'm trying to go for recently. And also, I'm hoping to branch out that genre, the British versus American thing, to be a lot more inclusive. And I'm really excited about that. But I'll keep that on the down low. But in terms of like a full genre change, I don't know, that might happen on this channel eventually. If I have an idea that I really want to do in a different style, then yeah, and I'm pretty sure, hopefully, you guys would support that. I don't know, as long as I'm a big fan, I'm sure you guys will like it, right? Oh, how many AP classes did you take in high school, if at all? I took 2, AP Physics and AP Calculus, okay? Know your strengths. I'm good at numbers, I'm good at maths and sciences, so I went for those because I knew I could get good college credit for that. I never really liked taking English courses in school. I enjoyed the grammar aspect, I guess, which you could say is the more mathy part of English, but never really a big fan otherwise. When I switched schools from sophomore to junior year, I stopped going so hardcore into the I have to be in honors everything to I want to focus on my strengths and then kind of enjoy school a bit more, and I have no regrets. Do you want to go back to Japan? I really do. And that's why myself and my friend Connie are going to Japan in November. I'm super excited. I really hope I can still catch the end of the autumn season with all the leaves beautiful orange, because that is what I'm really into. Now, I wouldn't have normally made the leap to go back to Japan because it's a bit expensive, but somehow I found direct return flights to Tokyo from London for £300. Yeah, I know, absolutely crazy. And so I was like, I can't not take this opportunity. I'm going back. I'm letting Connie plan this whole trip for me, so I'm very excited to like kind of sit on the back burner while she's like, you want to do Ghibli Land? And I'm like, heck yes. And she's like, you want to do this thing in Tokyo? And I'm like, go for it, man. The world is your oyster. Let's do an onsen. I'm super excited. What's your favorite album of the year so far? I've really been enjoying Taiko's new album, Weather. It's very different from his previous stuff in that there's lyrics, but yet it's still got that same Taiko feel with the beeps, the bops, the atmospheric tunes, the synths coming in and out. It's really lovely. The melodies are great. I love that there's lyrics. I love that he went and did a scary move as an artist and did something different. And yeah, if you like that style of music that's just a bit atmospheric and stuff, check it out. Big fan. And that about does it for this episode of Ask Evan. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give it a big old thumb, and you can subscribe if you want, because I make new videos every Sunday. I made these other videos as well. I mean, they're pretty good. If you haven't seen those yet, wow. Welcome to my channel. Nice to meet you. Hope to see you guys next week then. Goodbye.